In the last 10 years, there has been a significant rise in archaeological activities in Jerusalem's historic basin. Antiquity sites are a central part in the political struggle over Jerusalem, and particularly in the area surrounding the Temple Mount, Haram al-Sharif. The main organizations involved in Judaizing the area through the use of archaeology are the Elad Foundation, the Western Wall Heritage Foundation, and the Nature and Parks Authority. Elad is promoting a Jewish settlement in the Palestinian neighborhood of Silwan and is operating archaeological tourism sites in the city of David, the Old City, and in the Mount of Olives. The Western Wall Heritage Foundation is responsible for the Western Wall Plaza and the Western Wall tunnels which run under the Muslim quarter. The Nature and Parks Authority is responsible for the Jerusalem Walls National Park. The Israel Antiquities Authority carries out the excavations that are funded by the Elad Foundation and the Western Wall Heritage Foundation. The Kedem Center in Silwan is a visitor center the size of a mall, which Elad is planning to build across from the old city walls, on top of antiquities discovered at the site. The Davidson Center is an archaeological park situated at the foot of the Temple Mount Haram al-Sharif along its southwestern wall. Elad is engaged in a legal battle to receive the rights to manage the park. The Western Wall Heritage Foundation has built the Strauss building in the Western Wall Plaza, which houses toilets and offices, and is advancing a plan to build the Halibah building, which will house an educational center and bar mitzvah halls. The Western Wall Heritage Foundation receives funding from the Prime Minister's office. It is expanding the Western Wall tunnels to include more and more areas under the Muslim quarter. The Western Wall tunnels surround the Temple Mount Haram al-Sharif from the west and the north and are presented to the public as sites of great religious significance for Jewish history. But at the same time, they make almost no mention of Jerusalem's multicultural history. Bab el-Rahmeh is an active Muslim cemetery located in the area of the Jerusalem Walls National Park. Recently, the Nature and Parks Authority has begun to fence it off and prevent burials at the site. At the Mount of Olives Cemetery, the Elad Foundation is operating a visitors center as part of its attempt to consolidate Jewish tourism around the Temple Mount. All this directly affects the status quo at the Temple Mount Haram al-Sharif. The way to the Temple Mount Haram al-Sharif is surrounded by settlers and ancient sites, which emphasize the Jewish connection to Jerusalem, while almost completely ignoring the presence of other nations and cultures in the city or their connections to these historic sites. The Haram al-Sharif is more isolated than ever before. All this contributes to the increased tensions and violence in Jerusalem. The idea that in Jerusalem it is possible to present one historical story while erasing other narratives is immoral and endangers the future of the city and the area as a whole.